Use pre-signed prescription pads, medical procedures performed but not by a licensed doctor. And who's checking? We're finding there is no one checking.
Call 7 investigator John Ferrugia is live. And John, you might never know if you're being treated by someone without a license.
Yeah, man, that's because there's no regulation requiring doctors who can legally delegate some medical services to notify the state medical board. So unless there's a complaint, no one checks. But we did. Using our undercover camera, we began looking into a Boulder naturopathic office.
Welcome to our clinic.
When you walk into Nature Med in Boulder, you are told you're going to see a doctor.
This one you'll go over with the doctor, but I do need you to just go ahead and sign up.
And when one of the owners greets you,
I am Dr. Kelly Parcell.
but Kelly Parcell is not listed in state records as holding a medical license of any kind in Colorado, and neither is her husband, Stephen Parcell. They are co-owners of Nature Med Clinic.
Your lab will always look elevated.
Our undercover camera found they not only dispense medical advice, they actually perform surgical procedures in their office. That includes implanting hormonal pellets.
It's a minor surgical procedure. They're placed right under the skin, above the muscle.
Dr. Kelly Parcell, she was the one who did all the hormone pellet implants.
Jessica is one of a number of former employees of Nature Med who either assisted with or witnessed the surgical procedures.
How many times have I done it? I probably placed pellets about 50 times.
On the Nature Med website, a state licensed medical doctor is listed. Her name is Dr. Fran Mason. Several former employees say it's under her medical license that the Parcells are delegated to perform such procedures. By statute, all this is supposed to happen under proper supervision. What's proper supervision?
That's not been defined in rule or statute.
Marshall Smith is program director of the Colorado Medical Board.
We don't have the authority to monitor.
Former employees have told us Dr. Fran Mason comes to the office only a couple of days a week, and they say for an almost 2-year period, she was out of the state and rarely came to the Boulder office.
She kind of came back and forth once in a while, but mostly she was staying in Idaho then.
If you had a physician who lived in Idaho and was practicing in Idaho, that could be a concern.
They did everything unsupervised. They would perform minor surgeries and, prescribe any prescription, even controlled substances like Vicodin, testosterone, whatever they thought the patients needed.
That's right. She and others have confirmed that the Parcells would routinely write prescriptions for patients, even when Dr. Mason is not in the state.
She would send already signed prescription pads to the office.
In fact, our undercover cameras show the pre-signed pads in the office.
They can't delegate it to somebody else to take a pre-signed script pad and write out scripts for somebody. That's a violation of the Colorado Medical Practice.
And when we sent in one of our team, Steve Parcell wrote a prescription for a regulated hormone.
Progesterone is also a treatment for migraines.
When the progesterone prescription was filled, it had Stephen Parcell's name on it. We checked and found it had been filled under Dr. Fran Mason's Drug Enforcement Administration number. Dr. Mason, I'm John Ferrugia. As you know, we've been trying to reach you. After repeated requests for an interview, Dr. Fran Mason first agreed to talk and then canceled. So we went to see her. Do you allow the Parcells to write prescriptions under your name?
No, sir.
Well, what about this?
I have a meeting.
You see this? That says Dr. Stephen Parcell, and that's under your DEA number.
Responsible for
You're not responsible for them?
Dr. Parcells.
If your name is on that prescription and you're not a doctor, wouldn't it prove that you were practicing medicine without a license?
It would be very strong proof that you're holding yourself out and trying to practice medicine without a license, and that's not permitted under Colorado law.
I never delegate prescriptive drug authority. I'm the only doctor who can prescribe drugs in my practice.
Well, then why is Stephen Parcell's name on this under
no
your...
knowledge of that. I have absolutely no knowledge of that. I honestly don't.
Why would you send pre-signed prescription pads to this office when you're not here?
I have no idea.
We returned to the medical board to show Marshall Smith the prescription we obtained under the name of Stephen Parcell.
There's a licensing issue. Is that licensed physician acting appropriately and within their authority? And then secondly, there's a potential unlicensed activity by this Dr. Parcell. So these issues and these concerns you're raising are things that the board would be interested in looking at.
Stephen Parcell refused our request for an interview, but based on the information in our report, the State Medical Board has now initiated a complaint against Stephen and Kelly Parcells to determine whether they're practicing medicine without a license. And sources tell us formal complaints have now been filed with the board against Dr. Fran Mason. So, Ann, we'll, of course, let you know what the board finds.
All right, looking forward to that. Thank you, John. And if you have a story idea for the Call 7 investigators, call 303-832-7777, or you can send an email to call7@thedenverchannel.com.